Let's talk about memory for a minute. That is a big problem for a lot of us, especially as we get older. So I've created this soundtrack called Turn My Brain Back On. And the way this works is this is addressing some of the emotional components that literally clog our pipes. So I've watched this over the years that every time my mother, who's an incredibly emotionally sensitive person, whenever she would go through some sort of emotional trauma, like the loss of a loved one, her brain would just shut down. And she would get very scared because, wow, like I'm losing my mind. I can't remember anything. And then I would watch as she would slowly heal emotionally from that trauma. Her brain or cognitive function would come back. So there's many, many things that we can do to improve cognitive function. But it's very important to understand that as we age, if we are put into a situation where we are experiencing isolation, we are experiencing loss, the shutting down of memory is a natural response from the nervous system to keep from feeling the pain of that loss. So from an emotional standpoint, this soundtrack helps the body and the emotions heal just by listening to it. And I was able to create this soundtrack based on what I've been watching for about 15 years, and then base it on brainwave science, base it on understanding that as a hard drive, just like on a computer, as that hard drive fills up, we have less capacity for processing. So when we were able to use specific frequencies to clear out that hard drive of things that don't matter or emotional traumas that have just like blown all of our circuits, we clear that out and we feel good and we feel emotionally like we have hope and we have some reason that we want to be here. The brain comes back. The brain and the cognitive function can and will come back. And so I want to see people's brains turning back on. I want to see people having that beautiful spark of life and that will and that desire to try something new and to get back in the game and to have something that they really look forward to. Those are the key components. If we don't use it, we lose it. And the Turn My Brain Back On soundtrack has been a wonderful component. It literally only takes a few minutes. You're turning the soundtrack on. You're just putting it on your phone. You can hold it in your hand. I don't recommend that, but you can hold it in your hand by your head, or you can place it on the pillow and lie down and simply listen. You can listen through headphones. You could broadcast it through a large speaker. But it's a very fast and efficient way to address some of those emotional components, clear out the hard drive, and you will see a quick brainwave shift in yourself and a loved one. So I hope that this helps you. I hope that you feel inspired to learn more about brain health. There are wonderful nutrients that can help bring the brain back to life. There are wonderful exercises, both physical and mental, that are exercising the brain. The brain is a large muscle, and we've got to use it. We've got to create new neural pathways. We've got to learn new things. So if you are struggling with cognitive function, where you're experiencing brain fog, you've been through something that has created emotional overwhelm in your life, and now you're having a hard time kind of getting back up to speed, this soundtrack is built for you. This soundtrack also pairs very well with the mental focus soundtrack. That one is primarily the gamma brainwave, which when we go into gamma, we are in a state of high function, high performance. Let's get her done, be in that flow, be in that zen place of all things are possible. The athlete who's in the zone, who's like, I see what's happening before it gets here. And the mental focus soundtrack is fabulous too. If you suffer ADD, ADHD, there's a million things that we can do to clean up our brains. And also keep in mind that the brain is totally related to our gut. So gut health is something that I worked with for people for decades. And if you're trying to clean up your brain, you've got to clean up your gut. You've got to clean up the diet. You've got to get enzymes and probiotics in good balance so that you've got good gut health and intestinal strength instead of permeability. And again, there's a whole emotional component behind all of that. The intestines tonic the intestines tonic soundtrack is also another great component that sort of adds to this arsenal of bringing the body, bringing the brain, and bringing yourself and your loved ones back to life.